Because of why I search the deep through endless nights, no time to sleep. The call inside I can't deny. I'll find the light because of why.
Hey everyone, and welcome. So today we're diving into a question that's kind of wild when you think about it. How did this tiny, landlocked country, tucked away in the Pyrenees, become one of the wealthiest nations in all of Europe? Let's go find out the secrets of Andorra.
Okay, let's just start with one number. $49,900. That is Andorra's GDP per capita. Now, to put that into perspective, it's way higher than a lot of its much, much bigger neighbors. I mean, that's pretty incredible for a country with only about 80,000 people.
So, yeah, that's the big question, right? How does a country smaller than most cities, with no airport, no train station, how do they pull this off? Well, let me tell you, it's not some happy accident. It's a really deliberate and super clever strategy that we're about to break down. So let's get right into their big secret. And it's not some kind of ancient buried treasure or a single lucky brick. Nope. Andorra's success is actually built on this really powerful combination of things, a smart strategy that they've been perfecting for decades.
It all starts with where it is on the map. You see, by playing its cards just right, leveraging its geography and its independence, Andorra built its whole economic model on three main pillars that turn its tiny size into a huge advantage.
So what's the first pillar holding up all this wealth? Well, if you've ever heard anything about Andorra, you've probably heard about this. It is an absolute retail heaven, a true shopper's paradise.
And I am not kidding around here. Tourism, and all the shopping that comes with it, makes up a mind-blowing 80% of the country's entire GDP. Something like 10 million people visit every single year. And you know what they're there to do? Mostly to shop.
So what's everyone buying? Well, because Andorra is this low-tax, duty-free haven, basically everything is cheaper. We're talking electronics that are 10 to 15% less than you'd pay in France or Spain, plus massive savings on booze, tobacco, ski gear, even furniture.
Now hold on, you can't just back up a moving truck and clean out the stores. The whole system is really well organized. There are strict limits on what each person can legally carry back across the border. This table here just shows you the allowances for one adult. It's a finely tuned machine, and it's all designed to keep the shoppers coming back for more.
Okay, so all those millions of shoppers, they bring in a ton of cash. So where does all that money go? Well, that leads us right to the second pillar of Andorra's economy, its role as a seriously robust and modern banking powerhouse.
And the impact of banking here is huge. I mean, it directly contributes about 13% to the economy, but when you factor in its indirect impact, the financial sector is responsible for almost 20% of Andorra's GDP. That is a massive slice of the pie. And we're not talking about some new flashy industry here. The financial system is built on these historic institutions like Bank and Creon. They've got over 90 years of experience, so Andorran banking has this really deep expertise, especially in private banking and managing wealth. Now, for a long, long time, places with super private banking, well, they got a certain reputation, right? And this famous quote kind of sums it up perfectly. It pointed to its old status as a very secretive tax haven. But here's the thing, that image, it's completely out of date. Today, Andorra's financial sector has gone through this radical transformation. Its banks are highly regulated, they're transparent, and they are fully compliant with all the international standards on everything from stopping money laundering to sharing tax info. Okay, so we've got shopping and we've got banking, but that's only two pieces of the puzzle. We've finally arrived at the third and maybe the most famous pillar of Andorra's wealth, its absolutely incredible tax advantage.
And the difference here is just staggering. I mean, just look at this showdown. A standard sales tax, or VAT, of only 4.5%, compared to over 20% right next door. A corporate and top income tax rate that's capped at just 10%, while its neighbors are charging anywhere from 25% up to a whopping 47%. The gap is just enormous.
And when it comes to your personal income, it's beautifully simple. You pay zero tax on the first 24,000 euros you earn. You heard that right, zero. Then it's just 5% on the next chunk, up to a maximum of 10% on anything you earn over 40,000 euros. It's an unbelievably attractive system.
And if that wasn't enough to get your attention, here's the real kicker. There is no wealth tax, no inheritance tax, and no gift tax. This powerful combo makes Andorra a total magnet for wealthy individuals, entrepreneurs, and successful businesses.
But this kind of wild success, it doesn't come for free. When you become a magnet for wealth and tourism, you inevitably create brand new challenges for your own country. So what's the price of living in this paradise? Well, the Andorran government is totally on top of this. They are acutely aware of these pressures. There's a new law in the works that specifically aims to manage the country's growth so it's sustainable, looking at the pressures on population, housing, and land. They know they have to get this right. So what's the game plan? Well, they're bringing in new taxes aimed specifically at foreign real estate investment. They're talking about limiting how many properties a non-resident can even buy, and they're focusing hard on sustainable development to protect the very nature that makes the country so attractive in the first place.
So when you boil it all down, the big takeaway is this. Andorra's incredible wealth isn't magic. It's the direct result of a powerful trifecta. Being a duty-free shopping mecca, having a modern and solid banking sector, and offering one of the most attractive tax systems in Europe. Andorra really did master the art of being small to get rich. But with growing international pressure on taxes and local pressure on things like housing, the really big question is, can its unique formula for wealth actually last in a world that's changing so fast?
It's a huge question for such a tiny country. I'm really curious. What do you think is the biggest challenge ahead for Andorra? Is it keeping housing affordable? Is it their reliance on tourism? Or is it something else completely? Let us know what you think down in the comments. Hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown and want more explainers on fascinating topics just like this one, please don't forget to hit that like button, share it, and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.